Hey guys, what is going on today? Today, as you can see, we have a S4 here. The screen is actually still functional, but the glass is cracked, as you can see in this corner here. So what the customer asked us to do was to actually just fix the glass on it. Here's the replacement for it. We do have this on our website, so if you guys are interested. So what we'll need for this repair, first of all, we're going to need the sheet of glass. We're also going to need a screwdriver, a sesame tool, the glue of course, and the heat gun. The heat gun is the most important thing in this case. So let's begin with this repair. The first thing you have to do is you actually have to take the phone apart. Now my suggestion is you turn it off before you actually do take it apart. Alright, so once the phone is off, what you want to do is you just move the back as you would battery. Remove the battery, of course. And now you want to take off the screws that are on the back. There should be 9 of them. So pretty much they're just all Phillips, all the same size, so you don't have to worry about the size or anything like that. Alright, there's a very specific way that this bezel comes out with. And you actually have to be really careful with the screen when you're taking out this bezel. Now that we have all the screws out, you have to be really careful with this bezel because you want the sesame tool for this job, especially if you don't have one, then a screwdriver. But I mean, you're gonna need a sesame tool to actually remove the glass. So what you want to do is you just want to take the sesame tool, you want to insert it in between the plastic frame and the plastic bezel of the screen, the plastic frame on the back. You're gonna see that there's this little crack right there. So what you want to do is you just want to wedge it into a corner and just start working your way around. But you want to be real careful as to not to scratch the screen bezel, and also not to insert it very far because you can actually damage some of the sensors. Oops. As you can see, here was the point of impact when the phone was hit. So just keep working around until you get the frame off. Just pretty much the trickiest part at this point. Alright, so once you get the frame off, this is the frame, and as you can see, it was repaired before. This is an OEM. The OEM one would be white, but as you can see, that's pretty much the plastic bezel housing. This is the board right here. So now, next thing you want to do is you want to remove this motherboard. How you do that? There's some connectors, one right here. This one's for the camera. This was from the speaker. This is the earbud. This is the LCD connector. And this is the antenna. There's also going to be one screw right here, so you want to take that off before anything. And then you can try and wiggle around the board and it should just come out. So you have to be a little patient with it sometimes, but it should just come out just like so. It's the board right here. Alright, so we can set this aside as well. So, now that we have just the screen housing mount, what we want to do is we actually want to grab our heat gun. Make sure that it's to about 200 degrees so you don't burn the screen. So what you do is you just flip it over and you start working your way down from up top down. And always remember not to overheat it. You want to keep constantly touching the screen so that you know that it's hot enough. You'll know that it's hot enough when you try to touch it, but you can't because it burns. And you just want to work out the first section, which would be the first top half, but you want to heat up the entire screen evenly. Alright, and that feels like it's about ready to go. Remember that there's some glue up here at the top, so you want to just heat that up as well. So now what you want to do is you just want to insert this tool into here and just start working your way around. If some of the plastic from the old screen starts peeling off like it is here, don't worry about it. It's all going to be replaced in the new screen, so you just have to be really careful that you don't actually go in too far and start causing some problems with the screen. So as you can see there, I'm actually starting off with this corner here. So now that it's started, you just want to heat it up and keep constant heat on it so that it doesn't cool off, because if it does cool off and you try and separate the glass, then it'll actually crack. You have more possibilities of cracking the LCD, and that's something that you don't want, believe me. But if it does happen, we do have the parts, and we can actually offer this service as well. If you guys are interested, just go on our website and it should be there. As I said before, you just want to work your way down. Since this screen does have a crack going across the bottom here, it's going to be very difficult to get this piece of glass out from this angle. So what you want to do is you want to actually go to the other side and start working down from the other side. Oh, and sorry if the camera is shifting a little, guys. So just grab your heat gun and just start heating up from this side. And sorry if the camera is shifting a little, guys. It's just that this heat gun's kind of long and I don't have a longer mount for my camera, so. Alright, so once you get it up hot enough, that should happen, and you should just be able to work your way down. Try to work your way down as far down as you can. And then if you have to reheat, just reheat the screen. Just be very careful. Alright, if you guys get any edges like this, you just want to wedge up your tool against it. Be very careful not to go into deep, but once you do start heating it up, then you should be fine. Alright, so now you have to be really careful down here with the buttons. Remember that the light up buttons are there, and you don't want to rip the connector off. The good thing about the S4 though is that you can replace the buttons if they do get damaged. So now to get those buttons off, you just want to heat up the area. Just start peeling away. Alright. There you go. There's a sheet of glass right off. It's actually pretty hot, so let me just put that off to the side. Alright, so next thing you guys want to do is you want to clean the screen. How you do that is if you have some white spots like this, where you can't actually get it off with your finger by just running your finger across it, you want to just grab some alcohol and a rag or something like that, and you just want to start going at it with the rag, and it should just take it off. Alright guys, so here's what the clean LCD is going to look like. Once you wiped it with alcohol, you rubbed it down, you took out all the glue from it. You want to try and get as much of the glue out as you can. But don't worry about this top section here, or around where the black tape is. That's just double-sided adhesive. You guys really don't have to worry much about that, as long as it's not on the screen itself. As long as the screen itself is actually clean as well. Alright, so we're down to the next step. And one major part that I forgot to mention, guys, is you actually need a black light for this, or you can use the sun. But the sun isn't as effective as a black light, of course. This glue pretty much dries with UV light, and although you could leave it out on the sun for about 2 hours so it dries, really wouldn't recommend it. But I mean, that's up to you. If you guys can get a hold of a black light, then that's perfect. If you can't, then just leave it out in the sun for about 2 hours and it should be set. Now let's get on to applying this. Alrighty, so how you want to apply this is you actually want to apply it in the center of the screen, just a strip of glue on all the way up. And how you do that is just pretty much just hold it and just work your way up. Now if it does come up with some bubbles, don't worry about it. You can actually just take those out with a screwdriver or something like that. Just pick them out. But as you can see here, all you want is just a straight strip of glue. And don't worry too much about overflow, except for the camera. The camera you don't want to get overflowing. It's right here, so you don't want to touch that with the UV glue, and you want to try to keep the UV glue out of that area. So, as you can see here, you want to get all the dust out before you actually start laminating the glass. And also, don't forget your button to place it in the right area. Now, we do have these sheets of glass in multiple layers and in multiple different colors. So what you want to do and how you could layer this on is you actually want to peel the back. The back is always the gray part, so you just start by grabbing just a little bit of the plastic from the back, and you just want to take that right off. And you don't want to touch any of the clear part of the glass, because then it will come up. So first of all, you align the button, and as you can see here, you'll actually get some glue on the screen, and then you just want to work your way up, just running your finger along the strip of glue with a little pressure, like that. And then your best bet is just to actually clamp these down with little clamps that they sell at the 99-cent store, you know? The ones that you would clamp up food and stuff like that with. I like to use these. These are my favorite because, I mean, it holds down the glass, it has enough pressure, and it just works very well in terms of actually spreading the glue out. So you just put one in each corner. Like I said, you can get these at the dollar store. But before you leave this to dry, you want to actually make sure that there's no air pockets, there's no bubbles in the screen. You just want to take them right off. Like this corner right here, as you can see, there's still a little bit of the glue that hasn't spread all the way. So you just want to help that along with your fingers and with the clamp as well. Now the next time you see this, the glass will actually be adhered onto the screen. It'll completely be glued on. So if you do have a black light, you should leave it under the black light for about 20 to 25 minutes. Now I won't show you guys this part because of course it does take very long, and with the residue on the sides, all you want to do is just try to take it off, you know, so that it dries completely. Okay, so the next time you guys see this, it's gonna be dry. Alright, so guys, once the screen is dry, as we can see here, what you want to do is you just want to go ahead and clean the back up a little bit with just kitchen towels. Just get all the glue residue off the back. Make sure that there's none in the connectors, like right in this corner right here. You want to just get all of this out, because if it does touch the circuit, it might short circuit. You don't want that happening to your phone now. So once you get everything pretty much cleaned up, like it is here, you want to just go ahead and put the phone back together. Please remember to put all the screws back in, and just be real patient with the phone. Don't just jam everything in. Now, put in the black screw that went on the board. right in this corner here. Alright, and now that that's in, what you want to do is just take your little plastic thing and just put it back on. But remember, if you do see this piece flying out of the phone, don't get nervous, don't worry. This goes down here, so you want to just make sure that it gets put back in place, like so. And then just put on the back plastic. So just continue to put on the frame. It should just go click in. So once you see an area like this, just want to push it down. Make sure that it all clicks in all the way around, that it's all fully pushed down. And then pretty much just put on the screws, all of the screws that go into the actual phone. Make sure they all go back in place. This can be done across any S4 from any carrier, so it's not limited. And this is pretty much how you actually open the phone, just in case you guys do get any problems with the sensors or anything like that. Just want to put down all the screws here. You know, if you lay them up like this, so that you just have one shot to screw on, it actually saves a little time. And for this repair, you guys have to have a lot of patience and a lot of time. This repair can take anywhere from 45 minutes to about an hour and a half, depending on how skilled you are. But you know, you always want to take your time. You always want to make sure that everything on the phone is actually done correctly, so that you know that the phone will work properly. Okay, now just put in the battery, put in the black plastic cover, excuse me, sure it's all clicked into place. And once it all clicks in, go ahead and power up the phone. As you can see here, the actual phone screen is working. If the phone screen works, then that means that everything on the screen works. If it doesn't power on, but you know the phone itself is powered on, then you might have actually broken the LCD, which it's quite expensive to replace. And that's why we don't suggest usually that the just a regular home do-it-yourselfer do this job. But as you can see here, touch works. Everything works on the phone. Keys. Alright, so you already guys know, if you need any parts for this repair or anything like that, just drop us a line, or maybe just go on our website and find all the parts you need. We also do carry iPhone parts, iPad parts, pretty much tablet parts. So just give us a call and we should be able to help you.